They call it freedom. Work when you want. Be your own boss. Because apparently, true freedom means waiting in your car for hours, hoping someone orders fries. The platform economy, the modern miracle that promised independence, empowerment, and flexibility. Except it quietly redefined freedom as you're on your own. Uber, DoorDash, Instacart, all built on a model that doesn't technically employ you, but still controls how you work. You're not an employee, so no benefits, no vacation, no pension. But don't worry, you do get the privilege of paying for your own car maintenance. It's sold as innovation, but underneath, it's a return to something older and darker. A world where workers carry all the risk and companies collect all the reward. Across the world, millions of people are now part of this subset of the gig economy, the platform economy. And that number keeps rising every year. So today, we're breaking down how the platform economy really works, how it was built to benefit the few, how it preys on desperation, and how, unless we change the rules, it's not the future of work. It's inequality with an app, the promise of the platform economy. Remember when work was supposed to be your calling? Now it just calls and asks you to deliver sushi in under 30 minutes. The platform economy was sold as a revolution, a world where anyone could earn on their own terms, work where you want, when you want, doing what you want. A new kind of freedom, powered by apps, not bosses. It's the fantasy of entrepreneurship without the risk of starting a business. When Uber launched in 2010, it branded itself as an alternative to the rigid, outdated taxi system. Today, it has nearly 9 million people contributing to a company now worth over 190 billion US dollars, without a single one of them being considered an employee. And Uber isn't alone. DoorDash, Lyft, Deliveroo, Instacart, Fiverr, all promising opportunity, freedom, independence. But somehow the freedom always seems to flow upward. The companies celebrate flexibility. But what they really created is instability. A system where workers absorb the risks, car payments, fuel costs, unpaid hours, while billion-dollar platforms absorb the profits. Because at its core, the platform economy isn't just about modern work. It's about redefining what counts as a job. And in that redefinition, companies found the perfect loophole. If workers aren't employees, you don't have to protect them. The reality behind the flexibility. Flexibility. It's the golden promise of the platform economy. Work when you want, drive where you want, be your own boss. It sounds like a dream until you realize what it really means. It means you don't have guaranteed hours. It means no paid sick days. It means if your car breaks down or you get the flu, you don't get paid. It means you doing all the work, but the platform's reaping all the rewards. The idea of flexible work is appealing. It offers a lifeline for those in need, a way to earn when traditional jobs aren't available. It's a safety net for the unemployed, a side hustle for the underpaid, but that net is full of holes. Using an 84 million record dataset of every trip conducted in Toronto between January 1st, 2023 and May 1st, 2024, a City of Toronto report indicated drivers for private transportation companies, such as Uber and Lyft, earned approximately $22 an hour before expenses like gas or vehicle maintenance. After gas, insurance, maintenance, repairs, and taxes, $7.94 per hour in 2023, $5.97 in 2024. In the U.S., a Pew Research Center report showed that nearly 60% of gig workers said these jobs are essential or highly important to meeting basic needs. Not side hustles, but survival hustles. The reality is, many gig workers end up working longer hours than salaried employees just to make ends meet. They drive during peak hours, in bad weather, and on holidays, all to earn what others might make in a minimum wage full-time job. So much for flexibility. And this isn't just about numbers. It's about power. Because when a company can deactivate you without notice, change your rates without warning, or block your access to earnings, you're not your own boss. You're just a worker without rights, waiting for an app to approve your next shift. That's the quiet trick of the gig economy. It sells empowerment, but delivers dependency. But even this exploitative model isn't enough. Because while drivers and couriers are fighting just to make minimum wage, these same companies are already testing driverless cars and delivery robots to replace them entirely. Uber, Amazon, and DoorDash have all invested millions in automation, not to make workers' lives easier, but to cut them out of the equation altogether. The goal was never flexibility for the worker. It's flexibility for the company, profit without people. And when a society treats human labor as disposable, it's not progress. It's regression dressed up as innovation. How platforms exploit loopholes and algorithms. Let's talk about the real power behind the platform economy, the algorithm, aka your boss. It's the invisible hand that controls your earnings, your hours, and your autonomy. And it's rigged. In 2025, a study from Columbia Business School revealed that Uber used opaque algorithms to boost profits by manipulating driver pay and rider fares. This algorithmic price discrimination raised rider costs and decreased driver earnings systematically. By the end of 2024, Uber's take rate, the percentage of each fare it keeps, had increased from 32% to 42%. That's nearly half. Half of every fare, taken by a company that doesn't own the cars, doesn't pay for gas, and doesn't carry the risk. So, while Uber celebrates its profitability, drivers are left scrambling to make ends meet. And that's the thing. These companies aren't just taking advantage of drivers in general. They're taking advantage of the people who need this work the most. Those who've lost a job and have no other options. Those who don't earn enough in their full-time work and must pick up gig shifts just to survive. Those juggling childcare, elder care, or health issues who truly need flexibility. The power imbalance is staggering. The platforms control everything. The workers control almost nothing. Rates can change at a moment's notice. Access can be restricted without warning. And the algorithms decide who gets work and who doesn't. The gig economy isn't just inefficient or unfair. It's engineered to exploit necessity, the very circumstances that make flexibility appealing in the first place. The human cost of exploitation. Gig workers aren't just statistics. They're real people facing real struggles. In the US, a Human Rights Watch report revealed that 75% of gig workers had struggled to pay for housing in the past year. Over a third had been in a work-related car accident. Many had sold possessions, relied on food stamps, or borrowed from family and friends just to get by. Their labor keeps the system running, but the system isn't built to work for them. This isn't just about low pay. It's about dignity. It's about survival. It's about a system that profits from people's desperation. The so-called future of work is just the same old exploitation, now in an app. How we can make gig work fair. Look, technology and flexibility aren't the enemy. Using your skills on your own terms, picking up work when it suits your life, that's a good thing. The problem isn't gig work itself. The problem is how it's currently set up. Platforms could work for people, not just profits. Imagine a platform economy where workers get paid for every hour they're logged in and available, not just when the app decides to give them work. Companies contribute to pensions, insurance, and paid leave, just like any other employer. Transparent algorithms decide pay and access to work. No black box manipulation. Workers have collective bargaining power and the freedom to refuse unsafe shifts without penalty. But here's the catch. When you make gig work fair, it suddenly becomes less profitable for these companies. And that's when they start looking for their next efficiency, replacing people with robots, AI dispatchers, and driverless cars. Which means the problem isn't just about gig work, it's about what kind of innovation we reward. Because if every new technology is designed to cut humans out of the equation, to save companies money instead of improving lives, then that's not progress. That's just a more automated form of inequality. The real future of work has to be one where technology amplifies human potential, not replaces it. Where progress is measured not by profits, but by how much better people's lives actually get. That's the kind of innovation worth fighting for. The platform economy didn't just disrupt work. It redefined it in a way that stripped away protections, blurred accountability, and made instability feel normal. It turned what should have been a short-term safety net into a permanent substitute for stable jobs, one that depends on people being desperate enough to accept less. But it doesn't have to stay that way. Work can evolve without erasing worker rights. Technology can move forward without leaving people behind. We just have to decide what kind of economy we actually want to build, one that serves people or one that exploits them. Because if Innovation keeps making life harder for the people doing the actual work. Then we've lost sight of what progress was supposed to mean. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps push this kind of content out to more people. And if you've ever worked a gig job or relied on one to stay afloat, I'd love to hear your experience in the comments. Your stories make this conversation real and remind everyone what's at stake when we talk about the future of work.